Welcome back to the IroncladLion channel, my friends, and thank you for joining us in our mini guide series. You are probably watching this video because you just bought Total War Warhammer 2 and want to download some of that sweet free DLC that has been put out by Creative Assembly over the years. However, it's not working correctly, or you find yourself confused on what exactly you are supposed to do. Fear not, we'll work through it together. I've categorized the DLC by difficulty to download and get working. We'll start with the easy ones, then work our way up. These methods may also be extrapolated for both Warhammer 1 DLC as well as Total Warhammer 3 DLC, as I assume that Creative Assembly will stick to similar methods for DLC distribution. Now, let's download some DLC for Total Warhams. We're going to start with the easy stuff and the DLC that you can directly download off of Steam. So as you can see, you scroll down from the store page and you see this big old list of DLC. Some of it's paid and some of it's free. So we're going to focus on the free stuff. So we click on Browse All, scroll down, and you're going to see several lists. A whole bunch of lists, lots of graphics for each DLC. Yeah, all that's great. But what we're looking for is specifically that free DLC, because that's what we want. If you get paid DLC as well, that's all cool, but I know you want that free content. Everyone wants that free content, and you want all of it. So go to More Lists, and there's a specific list that has most of the free content for Total War Warhammer 2. And you're going to see Legendary Lords here, the Steps of Isha, which is a map pack. Not sure why that's not just included in the main game, and then Mortal Empires. We'll talk more about Mortal Empires specifically later. We're focusing on all the easy stuff here. So we've got Imric, Gorrock, Repants, De Mayonnaise, Tretch Craventail, all those good legendary lords. But that free content list doesn't actually have all of the free content. There's a few more pieces added more recently, and I guess that old list just didn't get updated. There is the Skaven Chieftain, Rakarth, as well as Thoric Ironbrow. Those are the three pieces that did not get added. So you can see Imric down there got added with his nice dragon graphic, but we want that Skaven Chieftain, Rakarth, and Thoric Ironbrow. That's two more legendary lords and a hero for the Skaven. So you can click on those, download them just like the other DLCs. They're just not included in that list because reasons. You've tried to download all the DLC that is listed through Steam. Now what? Before we do anything too crazy, let's verify that the DLC we've tried to claim is indeed registered to our account. With Total Warhammer 2 selected, let's take a look at the right side of our window. Scroll down past Friends, Additional Content, Achievements, and Trading Cards. Then we finally arrive at the DLC window. This is an incredibly important window which we'll be using to verify that our DLC has registered correctly. It will display the 6 most recent DLC we have acquired, but if we want to see all of it, we need to click on Manage My DLC. This pops up a new window that will display all the DLC we have installed and registered to us. If you're having trouble activating any DLC, make sure it's showing up in this window. This list will show all free DLC as well as any paid DLC you may have acquired. You can sort by installed, name, as well as date added for convenience. Now that we know how to verify our DLC, let's walk through an example to make sure we're not missing any steps. For this example, we'll be using the Imric Legendary Lord free DLC, since it has a graphic that easily stands out. We'll uncheck the box to disable the DLC and pretend we haven't activated it yet. Now let's close our DLC window and head back over to the Total Warhammer 2 store page. We can select Imric straight from the store page or head back to the free content DLC list. Once we see the bright blue Imric DLC, we'll click on it to be taken to the specific DLC page. To activate this DLC, we'll scroll down to the bright green download button and click on it. Here's where things can get a little confusing. By clicking download, it'll open up the Total War launcher. Don't worry, this is completely normal in the DLC activation process. An important note, we do not need to fully launch the game at this time, so we can safely close the launcher without consequence. Great, now let's complete the process and verify that we did indeed activate the Imric DLC on our account. We'll head back to the DLC management window to find Imric, and boom, there he is. The box is automatically checked and your DLC is enabled. This requires no further effort, and it'll be available next time you start up your game. If your DLC activated correctly, you should also get a one-time pop-up at the top of the game page. There will be a purple border saying that new DLC has been activated. Congrats, you did it. Once again for clarity, every time you hit the download button on a DLC, it'll start up the Total War launcher. You do not need to fully launch the game, and this is completely normal behavior. This happens because of how Steam is coded, and can happen in other games besides Total War. It's somewhat annoying, but nothing we can't handle. Congrats on acquiring all the free DLC from Steam. It's time to increase the difficulty and get even more free DLC. Next on our list is the DLC you can acquire from Total War Access website. To gain access to this DLC, you will need to make a Total War Access account. This is straightforward and requires a verified email. Once you make your account, you'll need to link your Access account to your Steam or Epic Games account, whichever platform you are using. This is not optional, it is necessary for the process to work correctly. Once you have your account set up, you'll need to navigate to the Total War Access page. This webpage is incredibly busy with all its graphics, so try not to get distracted. What we're looking for is the Access button right at the top of the page. This right here is the page we want. It'll say Total War Access at the top and your inventory. This page, however, is not very well organized. It has DLC, wallpapers, and other promotional assets all jumbled up, even from other Total War games. I'm not sure if this is intentionally trying to confuse Total War players, but it's a mess. Please fix this, CA. To make this as easy as possible, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. We'll start with the oldest content and work our way up to the most recent. The first DLC we'll want to download is Gotrek and Felix. Click on the graphic and then click on the redeem button underneath the Steam icon. Once again, make sure you are signed in and your accounts are linked before attempting this step. After Gotrek and Felix is the Catchweb Spider Shrine. Same deal here, just redeem it to your Steam account after you have linked your Total War Access. Next up is the Glade Captain. Rakarth here is somewhat special because he used to be Total War Access exclusive, but now has been added onto Steam directly, so you most likely already got him. We've got both the Great Bray Shaman as well as Ogre Mercs. Ogres, my lord. Both excellent additions, grab them up. The final DLC that is a bit conditional are the 30th Anniversary Regiments of Renown for Mortal Empires. To download this DLC, you need to have Mortal Empires, which we'll talk about very soon. We're almost there. Just so we run through this together, let's see what it would look like. We need to grant access between the website and Steam. You may have done this before for other games, and you'll need to log into your Steam via this method. Now that we've done all that, let's go confirm that the Total War Access DLC is registered to our account. You can see on my DLC page that it took me a day to figure out the Total War Access DLC, but there it is, the Glade Captain, Catchweb, and Gotrek and Felix. Chances are your adventure with Total War Access wasn't smooth. I understand completely. It wasn't for me either. If you are having trouble with your DLC, quit Steam, log off of Total War Access, and boot it all up again. Make sure your Steam is set to online, and make sure your accounts are linked. This will not work if the accounts are not linked. If you absolutely want to make sure your DLC is working, here's what you do. Let's start up the game and pretend to start a new campaign. Right now, I'm going to assume you just bought Total Warhammer 2. If this is true, you'll have access to the Eye of the Vortex campaign. The Eye of the Vortex campaign is Total Warhammer 2, not Mortal Empires. We'll talk about Mortal Empires soon, but not yet. Not yet. Go ahead and press continue. Your screen will probably not look as crazy as mine. I've got a lot of DLC as well as mods enabled. What you should notice though are several new awesome legendary lords for you to play with. Let's scroll all the way to the end and work our way back. You'll notice you now have Thorak Ironbrow in the Vortex. This is awesome because you now get to play dwarves for free, a whole new race to play that didn't cost you any money. You should also see Repants, representing Bretonnia in your roster, an awesome free DLC because you now get to try Bretonnia, a human faction, giving you access to 6 races in Total Warhammer 2, all smiles. Let's go see some more fresh faces. We've got Tretch Craventail for Skaven, Rakarth and Lokir Felheart for Dark Elves, Tic-Tac-Toe for Lizardmen, and finally our shiny boy Imrik for High Elves. Even without any paid DLC, that's quite a few additional campaigns to play. Alright, we've covered the easy Steam DLC, we've managed to activate the medium DLC from Total War Access. I think we're finally ready for hard mode. The ultimate Total Warhammer challenge, Mortal Empires. Mortal Empires is a special DLC because it is very conditional. Let's navigate to the specific Mortal Empires DLC page so we can read more about it. So what is Mortal Empires? Mortal Empires is a special expansion to Total War Warhammer 2, combining the campaign map from both Total Warhammer 1 and Total Warhammer 2 to make a very large, grand campaign map. Sounds awesome, right? Hell yeah, it does. But there's one crucial piece of information you need to make this DLC work. You need to own both Total Warhammer 1 and Total Warhammer 2 to access Mortal Empires. As you can clearly see, it says, requires ownership of both games to play. Now, if you missed that part, let's read about this DLC. In big, bold letters it reads, you must own both Total War plus Total Warhammer 2. I think it's starting to make sense now. Let's expand that to play Mortal Empires. So this combines both the old world from the first game with the new world from the second game. That's so cool. But to make sure we absolutely understand what we need to play Mortal Empires, let's go back to the top of the page. You know what? I think they're trying to tell me something. It's almost as if they're doing literally everything they can to tell me something. Time to be serious now. You need both Game 1 and Game 2. However, you can still run into issues with the activation. An important note, you do not need Total War Warhammer, the first game, installed to play Mortal Empires. I have never installed the first game on my machine and I can play Mortal Empires just fine. You do, however, need to make sure the first game is on your Steam account. Only when it is recognized that both games are on your account, then you can activate Mortal Empires. If you run into any problems in this process, remember the safety steps. Verify the DLC in your DLC manager and restart Steam. The main reason the activation won't work is that essential components are not being recognized. Because there are a few pieces involved in the activation of Mortal Empires, it might take Steam a few minutes to get it all sorted out. Be patient, it doesn't always work the first time. If you want to verify in-game, we'll head back to the new campaign selection screen. We can see in Mortal Empires there are almost double the amount of playable races. This is because Mortal Empires is adding all previous races from Game 1 into Game 2 for a very large campaign experience. If we press continue, we'll be able to see an absolutely absurd amount of legendary lords to pick from. Keep in mind, once again, I've got mods and DLC enabled. If you own both games, you should see the dwarves, greenskins, empire, as well as vampire counts available to you, as well as any paid DLC you may have acquired. One last thing before we move on. Remember to get Mortal Empires activated and working before trying to acquire the 30th Anniversary Regiments of Renown DLC from Total War Access. You'll need Mortal Empires to use that add-on content. If you try getting that DLC out of order, you will have problems, and by extension, that means you'll need both Game 1 and 2 before attempting to activate. Best of luck. If you did manage to get Mortal Empires working, congrats! If you want to make sure you are getting the most out of the Mortal Empires experience, you can download all the free DLC for Game 1 as well. There's far less of it, but it does all get transferred into the Mortal Empires campaign if you have it activated. The process is the same as the second game, so get activating. Just keep in mind that you'll need to own the first game on your account before trying to activate any of this DLC. You still do not need to download the first game, just have it on your Steam account. Total Warhammer 3 has not been released at the time of this video, but when it does, I imagine the process for acquiring the DLC will be exactly the same. There will be DLC directly downloadable from Steam, some exclusives through Total War Access, as well as the inevitable grand campaign combining all three games. I don't know if it'll be called Mortal Empires, I'm guessing they will have a different name for it, but you can bet your wallet that it'll require the previous games, most likely both of them, so expect a similar process for activation as in this video. I'm making this video as best I can so it will stand the test of time and remain relevant for all three games. I hope you found this video helpful and look forward to hearing about your campaigns. If you're having any trouble getting any DLC working, feel free to comment down below so we can help you. If anyone would like to share their experience with the DLC or have any additional tips on activation, we would love your feedback as well. I'm putting out new videos every Monday and have been loving the enthusiasm from the Total War community. If you have been enjoying the content, consider liking the video to help the channel grow. below and subscribe so you can be notified for the next release. That's all for me. Enjoy your campaigns, my friends. I'm IroncladLion, and I'll see you in the next video.
Torch 120s!